Welcome, ladylads and gentlelads, to what is going to be the first episode in a Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun playthrough. We're going to be starting a new campaign, and of course we're going to be going with the GDI first. However, in order to calibrate things, I'm going to actually have to start a skirmish, because you will notice soon that there is a pretty big problem with starting games. Chiefly that it likes to start itself off at the fastest setting. So we'll be lowering that down to fast, which is the intended speed at which the game was meant to be played back in the day. And so with that out of the way, we can now actually get into the battle proper. So, we'll be playing on the hardest difficulty, starting with the GDI Campaign, and we're going to be listening to the dulcet tones of James Earl Jones soon.
This is Base Commander Tau reporting. A number of enemy craft are hitting us all over the place. They caught us by surprise.
This game had a pretty massive budget back in the day. Well, it really didn't, but a lot of it was spent on these actors.
God damn it. Makes no sense. Hot spots everywhere. Why Southwest Sector 9?
Someone's jamming the secure channel, sir.
You'll come for the sunshine, but you'll stay for the people.
What the hell is this? It's not possible. Punch up the mainstream.
If I am cut, do I not bleed? It would be a sad error in judgment, General Solomon, to mistake me for a corpse.
My judgment is sound, Kane. And I'm not afraid of ghosts or you.
Perhaps you should be. I've seen the future. Our Tiberian future. And as you watch this battle just beginning to unfold, I've already seen the final act. It is my destiny to lead the way for all mankind.
Mankind has forgotten you, Kane.
Signal, sir. It's in the southwest.
Joe Kukin.
Get me
Great
my
guy. Oh, and the hammy acting. I love it. Please, can we go back to RTSs with this? FMV sequences were fantastic.
Chandra, you son of a bitch.
Oh boy.
Solomon needs you. Kodiak's waiting.
Played this game for the first time back when I was basically 7. And I've been coming back to it ever since. And every single time, it's been the same fun old romp.
General Solomon on secure channel 4.
Good to see you again, Mac. I wish it were under better circumstances.
It's a light show, all right.
It's more than that. It's Kane.
Sir?
We lost contact with Phoenix at 0800 Zulu. I'm not losing that base, Mac. I'll give you a squad of our best jump troopers to clear the way for your arrival. Good luck, Commander.
The game's afoot. Let's kick some ass.
It's so stupid. The voice lines for these guys. About the only person who has decent voice lines is Kane.
Stand by.
Coming to this for the first time ever was... It was something else. Up until this point, the most I'd ever really experienced or encountered in video games was like a game about dinosaur photography. This was special. And now, I think I'll go into the rules of our little campaign playthrough here. If I had control over our units there, I would have actually been able to keep that guy alive. But unfortunately, I wasn't. So, in a nutshell, the entire objective of this playthrough is to keep as many units alive as possible and to use as few units as we can get away with.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Moving out.
So, as close to 0 losses as we can possibly get it. And preferably,
Loud and clear. Loud and
only
clear.
using a maximum of about, I don't know,
Loud and clear.
5 units at once perhaps.
Waiting order. Got it.
I'm basically trying to relive the glory days for myself when I didn't know how to play real-time strategy games and when I thought that only one refinery was enough to keep your base going the whole time. And that, you know, building a second refinery was, like, out of this world in terms of, like, you know, galaxy brain strats.
Construction complete. The harvester will automatically begin harvesting any...
Unfortunately, I've since actually learned how to play video games more or less. And
Infantry reporting.
it really isn't as easy as,
Construction
well,
complete.
it isn't easy to go back to that sort of style of gameplay.
Loud and clear.
New construction options. Training.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
I'm on it.
Unit ready.
Infantry reporting. Good as done.
Unit ready.
Ultimately, I keep coming back for the atmosphere above everything.
I'm taking heavy fire. Waiting order. Moving out. Awaiting order. Got it. You got it.
There's just something special about the kind of otherworldliness that this game conveys.
Attack.
Sir? Awaiting orders. I'm on it. Awaiting order. Infantry reporting. Loud and clear. Sir. Loud and clear. Infantry reporting. You got it. You got it. Moving out. Infantry reporting. Got it. You got it. I'm on it. Yes, sir. You got it. Awaiting orders. Infantry reporting. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so we already have 2 near casualties, which we're going to send back home as soon as those 2 nerds die.
Training.
And we're going to set about just building a couple more. You know, it's a first mission. Nothing too difficult about it.
Unit ready.
Heck, half the time the enemy AI just comes straight for you. And you don't really have to worry about it.
Infantry reporting. Got it.
You can just complete the mission, because it's, for all intents and purposes, your training wheels mission.
Loud and clear. Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Sir. You got it. Infantry reporting. Order. Infantry reporting. Moving out.
But just the isometric view, the lighting effects, and the art assets, just,
Moving out. Loud and clear.
it all comes together in this nice, neat package.
Waiting order. Good as done. Yes, sir. Infantry reporting.
Well, we're keeping you alive.
I'm taking heavy fire.
Oh,
Unit lost.
we unfortunately lost a couple of units that decided to wander onto the bridge.
Unit lost.
Loud and clear.
And as you can already tell, it's pretty tough to keep units alive. Preferably, I'd only be using the Wolverines here as much as possible.
Moving out.
And yeah. Typically, when you cross this bridge, a meteor strike comes down and kills any units that are on the bridge. And unfortunately, a couple did manage to wander on.
Sir. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Sir.
And so now we're left with the unfortunate circumstance of, well, having to deal with dead infantrymen.
Infantry reporting. Loud and clear. Moving out.
Naturally, I'm not going to be restarting in order to keep counts down as much as possible.
You got it.
By the way, here's a little secret that the game had.
Good as done.
A Command Conquer 1 era not base, just down at the bottom here.
I'm on it. Sir. Loud and clear. Loud
There's absolutely no purpose to destroying it. You can complete the mission just by destroying these 2 buildings here. But, you know,
got it.
we're trying to eliminate the entire Nod presence after all.
Moving out. Loud and clear.
And yeah, so I'm not going to be restarting just to maximize my quote-unquote score.
Infantry reporting. Waiting orders. I'm on it.
But I will be trying to mitigate losses as best as possible. And so that's the first mission done and over.
Sir, loud and clear. You got it.
He says, a bit too preemptively.
Training.
Waiting order.
It appears that not all of the Nod infantry units have actually
Ready.
Yes, sir. Good as done.
completely shown themselves.
Infantry reporting. Loud and clear.
You know, I had a feering it would just be these last
I'm
two.
on it. Sir. Sir? Sir? Waiting orders. Medic!
There we go.
Destroy all Nod forces in the area.
Now for some quote-unquote ludonarrative dissonance. Cyborgs don't have a grenade launcher attack, and none of your infantry actually uses lasers like that, so... even back in the day, I thought that was the goofiest nonsense. But I would often replay this first mission, like, tens of times in one day, just because the cutscene was so fantastic.
Nice job, McNeil. Nod is on the run, and I wish we could say the same for Phoenix. We just recovered this transmission.
Smile for the camera, Commander. We must look our best when the Brotherhood comes to visit. The least you could do is wear a tie.
That drug-dealing animal is...
King of the eye candy trade. He's been dealing that poison for years.
Looks to me like he's his own best customer.
Get
At
back
no point,
there,
by the
take
way,
out
do you
SAM sites,
ever find
and
out what
destroy
eye
the Nod
candy
base.
is.
The Ava unit has the data.
It's just one of those throwaway lines that's just in there for flavor, but is completely lost
The
on
Nod
anyone.
forces that attacked our Phoenix base are in this sector. Their base must be destroyed in order to secure the region. However, there is a significant civilian population requiring evacuation. GDI transports will evacuate the civilians once all Nod SAM sites are destroyed. The Nod base can then be safely terminated.
And another great part about Tiberian Sun in general, the campaign map between missions and how you can choose whether or not you take on side objectives. Now, a part of me wants to just go through the campaign without taking any of the side objectives and just see how fast I can go through. But for this first time through, I'll just do, you know, campaign together with objectives.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by.
And the music. Oh my god, can we talk about Frank Lepatsky and the bloody music he wrote? Just perfect atmosphere. Okay,
Sir? Deploying. Deploying.
let's get you started already,
Infantry reporting. You got it.
and go off in search of SAM sites.
Loud and clear.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Let's start with the barracks first.
Sir? Loud and clear.
Construction complete.
I was a bit of a doofus with putting down the MCV over there,
You got it.
because in case it wasn't already made quite apparent, you can only build buildings within a certain range of your MCV.
Infantry reporting. Clear. Orders. Orders. Sir? Loud and clear.
Also, the lack of right-click unit controls back in this day and age, and just to make sure I'm not talking on my ass on this one, yeah, there's no way I'd think to set that up. And keyboard shortcuts certainly aren't going to do it.
Sir? Loud and clear. You got it.
But yeah,
You got it.
the lack of right-click mouse movement controls
Loud and clear. You got it.
does throw you off a bit. At least the first time around you play.
Sir?
Construction complete. New construction options.
And in order to assure our base is defended and that we create the minimum amount of light infantry possible, we'll actually invest in a few component towers.
Construction complete.
I suppose these would be the GDI's answer to Nod's laser turrets.
Construction complete. Building.
Yeah. I'm on it.
Naturally, this is another mission where we have to destroy the enemy.
Low power. Building.
So,
Construction complete.
we're going to spend a lot of time just,
Building
Infantry
online.
reporting.
cycling out Wolverines that get too damaged.
Sir? Medic! Orders. Orders. I'm on it. Sir?
See, already, this one's going to be going in for a replacement.
Sir? Sir? I'm on it. Yeah. Sir? Infantry reporting.
Also, the AI loves to retask on already damaged units.
Infantry reporting.
Another nuisance.
Loud and clear. I'm on it.
But, oh well. We're just gonna have to deal with that. Also, no splashy water effects in this game. You just have a set texture, and that's what you get to deal with.
Yeah.
Very few units actually interact with water, too.
Orders.
And already we have our first assailant off the base.
Construction.
Well, he won't be around for too much longer.
New construction options. Building.
Methinks I should invest in a second harvester first. After all, we have some time. 2 Wolverines will, well, it'll be enough to get through the first stages of the mission.
Insufficient funds.
Infantry reporting.
Oh man, Wolverines, they're such cute units.
Yeah, loud and
Back when they were actually bulky power armor suits, not like in Tiberium Wars where they turned into this like weird battle pod with machine guns.
loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. You got it. I'm taking him. Got it.
Also,
Sir?
towards the,
Loud and clear. Orders.
get out of range of those, you're not suited for that.
Building.
Another one of the things I'll be considering as a unit for the purposes of this run is,
Orders received. Waiting orders received.
damn it. Towers.
Infantry reporting.
I was about to say,
I'm on
towers.
Construction.
Infantry reporting. Loud and clear.
Okay, come on.
Construction complete. Low power.
I'm gonna turn you off,
Building on.
turn you on. And yeah, buildings count as units.
Infantry reporting. Loud
We
and
don't
clear.
want to be losing them.
Building. Building online. Building
Orders. Got
outside.
it.
Okay.
Building.
Infantry reporting. Loud and clear.
Now, as soon as we get this whole situation sorted out,
You got it. You got it.
Construction.
we'll set about building our Wolverine force and, complete the mission.
Building online.
Infantry reporting. Sir.
Also, we should be directing our harvesters at any of the blue Tiberian patches we can find, because
Orders. Loud and clear.
they're the more valuable
I'm
ones.
on it. Orders. Loud and clear. I'm on it. Yeah. Sir.
Okay.
Orders. Yeah. Orders. Sir.
Come on, move. Out of the way.
Loud and clear. Sir, got it. Sir. Sir. Orders. Loud and got it. Got it. Loud and clear. Sir. Orders. Loud and clear. Infantry.
Come on, you nearly got him. Damn it!
Infantry reporting.
Really, the attack buggy won that exchange? Oh, I'm so mad.
Loud and clear.
Building. Training.
I should also be investing in some more disc infantry, but oh well.
Got it. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Unit ready.
Got it.
Insufficient funds.
Infantry reporting. Yes, sir. Infantry reporting. Loud and clear. Orders, I'm on it. Sir? Sir? Yes, sir?
There we go.
Sir?
This is the unit mix we should have.
Unit ready.
Yeah, you got it. Orders? Yes, sir?
And another thing we could also ostensibly invest in is engineers, but, well, you know.
Waiting orders. I'm taking heavy fire. Yeah, you got it.
For now, this will be our troop of choice.
Loud and clear. Sir? Infantry reporting. Infantry reporting. Loud and clear.
Damn it, we lost another one.
Heavy fire.
Oh no.
Unit ready.
At some point, I'll likely give up on this challenge.
Sir? You got it. I'm on it. Moving out. Yeah.
Because it's much funner not to have to worry about it, especially in the opening stages of the game, where most of what you're going to be dealing with is,
You got it.
well, really easy to damage and destroy units, and no way to repair them.
Yeah.
Unit ready.
Sir. Loud and
Unit
clear.
ready.
I'm on it.
And sooner or later, our little cohort here is going to, well, run out of steam.
You got it.
But in the meantime,
Good as done.
we need to go around looking for SAM sites. And hope that the enemy engineers don't repair this bridge yet.
Yes, sir? Infantry reporting. Clear. Yeah. Infantry reporting. You got it. Waiting order. Loud and infantry reporting.
Also, you'll notice sometimes that the disc throwers, which are grenadiers, who are literally playing discus,
Moving out.
their discs can bounce. So,
Yes, sir.
here, for example,
Loud and clear.
you can really extend their range quite a ways. In a weird sort of way, this is, sort of a medium-range artillery unit for GDI.
Waiting order.
Absolutely, though, it should never be used as such, but I mean, oh, who's stopping me?
Training. Unit
Infantry
ready.
reporting. Loud and clear.
Unit ready.
One of the things that makes this game quite dated as well
Unit ready.
is the lack of ability to set waypoints for your units.
You got it. Yes, sir?
You just sort of have to build them in one place and then remember that you actually built them.
Sir? Infantry reporting.
Anyway, so far we've managed to save 3 Wolverines out of like the, what? 2 that we lost, 3 that we saved. Either way.
Yes, sir?
I'm gonna invest in a 3rd harvester because, well, supply lines are gonna become strained. So, as a matter of fact, I think I'll even invest in a 2nd refinery. Although, really, we're getting close to the point where we have a more or less good enough force to deal with anything that might come our way.
Loud and clear. You got it.
We just have to skirt around various terrain features.
Loud and clear.
While we're on the subject of terrain features and just the overall aesthetic,
You got it.
this game plays so much differently at a 480p resolution. Like, you know, the 4:3 aspect ratio that was standard once upon a time.
Loud and clear.
You were much more zoomed in on the screen, you didn't have this whole wide angle that you have here.
You got it. Loud and clear.
So when you were first encountering even this village for the first time,
Loud and clear.
like, a certain sense of wonder did strike you.
You got it.
Like,
You got it. Loud and clear.
you got the feeling that there was something off about the way that people were living with, like, you know, close to Tiberium and all, how these houses had developed into essentially these habitation pods in order to
Sir, you got it.
make sure that
You got it. You got
people
it.
didn't get affected by the Tiberium radiation, essentially,
You got it.
and by all the spores and weird things that get cast off
Loud and clear.
by the Tiberium.
Silence
Got it.
needed. Building.
Also, we'll let our Wolverines handle this, because, we're getting pretty close to the Nod base, and, that'll become fairly problematic soon.
Infantry reporting, sir. Infantry
Chiefly in that we don't want to be running into the laser wall quite yet.
loud and clear. I'm on it. Yes, sir. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Moving out.
In the meantime, I'll content myself to harass a harvester.
Orders. Infantry reporting. Loud and clear. You got it. I'm on it.
And also attract the attentions of a bunch of the enemy.
Infantry reporting.
And,
Sir. Waiting order. Loud and
yep, this is the point at which
reporting. Infantry reporting. I'm taking heavy fire.
we forget that,
Loud and clear.
oh boy.
Training.
Orders. You got it.
So I was a foolish boy and I took an engagement on Blue Tiberium.
You got it. Loud and
Blue Tiberium explodes!
Unit ready.
I feel like a bit of a dunce cap.
sir. Medic.
Well, you have your nice final stand there, Wolverine.
Training. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Yeah, moving out.
Unit ready.
On my way.
As a matter of fact, I'm even gonna bring, well,
Unit ready.
Sir, you got it.
our rifle boys into the fray.
Sir. Infantry reporting. Moving out.
Damn it! The Blue Tiberium explodes.
Orders.
Never forget.
Sir. Yes, sir. Orders received. Yes, sir. On my way out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Also, sometimes harvesters like to ignore your orders. They're sort of dumb.
Infantry reporting. Loud and clear.
So yeah, we succeeded in kiting the enemy. Our issue is that we fought them on Blue Tiberium. Anyway,
Sir, moving out.
we've quite quickly given up on the whole idea of keeping units alive
You got it.
and trying small unit tactics.
Orders. Infantry reporting. Sir? Sir, loud and clear. Orders. Moving out. You got it. Yeah. Waiting order. Yeah. Sir? Yeah. Yeah, loud and clear. You got it. Sir,
Come on,
loud
we
and
need to move
clear.
our boys closer.
Yeah, loud and clear. Infantry reporting.
Get them fighting a bit. In the meantime, our discus throwers can deal with this.
GDI Campaign en route.
Oh, we already have the transports en route. Nice.
Infantry reporting. Orders. Yeah. Orders.
And now we're stuck in this weird situation. But at least we get to see the civilians get evacuated.
Infantry reporting. You got it.
Which normally, every time I've played this game, like, there's always been a SAM site or two that I missed. Typically one of these two. And I never actually see this. This early, at least, in the mission. Usually happens towards the end at some point. Anyway, just to assure
Training.
that our push on the Nod base actually succeeds,
Infantry reporting. Loud and clear.
Civilians evacuated.
Yes, sir.
Objective.
Loud and clear.
I'm going to invest in a lot more units.
Unit ready.
Sir, loud and clear. Orders, I'm on it.
Training.
Sir,
I'm also going to send
Unit ready.
a couple of engineers out,
Unit ready.
along with this main force.
infantry reporting. Infantry reporting. Medic! Yes, sir. Good as done. Orders, sir. Orders, I'm
Come on, get rid of them before they kill our Wolverines.
Orders, loud and clear. You got it.
Unit ready.
Chiefly, is there a way to bypass those things? Because I don't remember.
I'm taking heavy orders. You got it.
I know that I can stay out of range if I just hug this cliff line a bit.
Infantry report. Got it. Orders. Loud and clear.
But I want to also know if I can just come in from the back of the base completely.
Engineering. Loud and clear.
And maybe what I need to do is just build more units.
Awaiting order. Loud and clear.
Unit ready.
You got it.
Unit ready.
Loud and clear.
Unit
Orders.
ready.
Loud and
So we'll
clear.
send one of
Sir,
these
got
boys
it.
along the edge,
You got it. Moving out. Yeah.
see if he can
Got
scout
it.
something out
Yes,
for
sir,
us,
got it.
which I don't think he really can.
Loud and clear. Moving out. Loud and
Yep,
clear.
as I
Moving out.
suspected.
You got it. Moving out.
Oh. I do have an idea, however.
Orders received. Sir, moving out. Yes, sir. Sir,
We send in a harvester to do our dirty work for us.
on my way. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Orders received.
Slowly but surely, he'll creep along into position.
Infantry reporting. You got it. Awaiting order. Got it. Moving
And
out.
we'll send small
Sir,
groups of
on my
units
way.
in this direction,
Orders received. Yes, sir.
in order to not get hit by that laser turret.
Infantry reporting. Moving out.
We want to save it for last as much
Yes,
as
sir.
possible.
Yes, sir.
Attack.
Moving out. Orders received. Yes, sir.
Ah.
Waiting on my
Oh yeah, by the way, you can totally squish units.
infantry reporting.
Okay. I don't see us punching through.
Unit reporting out. Awaiting order.
Not in the conventional way, anyhow.
Sir? Yes, sir. No problem. Affirmative.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Engineers off to the side,
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
and nothing for it but to just throw our boys at the front.
Infantry reporting, sir. I'm on it. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Come on.
Sir? Loud and clear. Got it. Loud and clear. You got it. Loud and clear.
Cool.
got it.
You now get to go
Yes,
back
sir.
home.
You got it. Sir?
You did your duty.
Got it. Got it. I'm on it. Sir?
Okay, just deal with the laser turret.
Infantry reporting. Infantry reporting. Yes, sir. Good as I'm taking heavy fire. Taking heavy fire.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You got it.
You too, you also get to go home.
Orders.
I'm saving you.
Infantry reporting.
This is like the Saving Private Ryan of video game challenges.
Sir? Yes, sir. I'm on it. Loud
Hold
and
on.
Clear. Yes, sir.
I just remembered
Infantry
something
reporting.
interesting.
Got it. I'm on it. Good as done.
There we go! I completely forgot about this. Literally as of a few seconds ago.
Yes, sir. Got it. Loud and clear.
Well, that's the biggest hurdle for this mission out of the way.
Good as done. Loud and clear. I'm taking heavy fire. Medic!
Unit lost.
Waiting order. Got it out, sir. I'm on it. Sir.
Unit
Sir.
lost.
Moving out now.
needed.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You guys are still healthy.
Good
Get back in there.
Orders out and clear.
You're going home, though.
Awaiting no problem. Sir, you got it.
And now to keep this as bloodless as possible,
Affirmative. Awaiting affirmative.
we'll be doing the following. We'll be capturing their base with engineers.
Training. Building captured.
Orders out and clear.
Base under attack.
Sir? Infantry reporting.
Yes, sir.
No problem. Yeah, out and clear.
And just like that,
Out and clear. Out and clear.
we don't have to worry about losing anything.
Awaiting order. Yes, sir. Infantry reporting. Out and clear. Engineering affirmative.
At least not anymore.
Building captured.
It's alright.
Infantry reporting.
Yes, sir.
This is still a learning process for me, as I've never tried to do a challenge like this before in this game.
Sir. Infantry reporting. Yes, sir. No problem.
Suffice to say that it's just a simple matter of, well, you know,
Building.
just getting it done and over with.
Construction complete. Building captured.
Also,
Building.
the more of a unit-producing building you build, the faster you get to train your units.
Construction complete. Building.
Awaiting no problem.
Construction complete. Primary building set.
Engineering, no
Ready.
problem. Affirmative.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, just to make sure that there's no other Nod units hiding around anywhere out here,
Loud and clear.
Unit ready.
Loud
I'll
and
do a
clear.
bit of a
Building
scout.
captured.
Moving out. Loud and clear.
Cool, doesn't seem like there is anything.
Orders. You got it. You got it.
And perfect, that's second mission complete as well.
Engineering, no problem.
On board.
Not quite as fast as I wanted it to be done, though.
Building captured. Structure sold.
I didn't sell those. I didn't sell those. What are you doing, game? Oh well. Also, get a load of Discus Boy there. He has like some arm augment in order to help him huck Discuses farther. So, I lost 19 units in a structure. But that's still fine.
Forward scout reporting in north of Sector 9. No sign of Vega and his men, but they found something.
I've never seen anything like it, sir. It's easily the size of one of our carriers, but
But what?
I don't think humans made this, sir.
Pull back, soldier! We're closing in on the site now. What's that recon tell us?
Nod forces have been detected 6 miles west of the site. It may be a possible staging area for Vega's troops.
If we take the staging base out first, it'll be a hell of a lot easier to get to the crash site. Ava, do you think they can hold out that long?